Howdy. How do? So, as promised, I'm gonna do one more video just to do one more video. Like I said, guys, the winter months, January, February, will be a little bit slow. I plan to, like I said, hit the Smithsonian a bit. I haven't been downtown Washington for a long time, and much unlike Baltimore, I like Washington a lot. So, minus the politics. Anyways, so since we're getting upon Christmas, and it's the season, I guess, of many things, the season of giving, and a season of good tidings and peace, I thought maybe I would address Ukraine, since that seems to be really getting ratcheted up. This isn't meant to be like a serious talk with, I'm not going to throw a gazillion facts at you and whatnot, and I'm just going to kind of ramble and do it from the hip. But any of those out there, left or right, red or blue, who are kind of in favor of a conflict with Ukraine, ratcheting up tensions, and I really, a sideways war with Russia, like to say a few things. First of all, the pretty recent ratcheting up of tensions, up in the ante, would have happened regardless of who won the election. Let me put that out there, absolutely clear. If you guys want to rewind the tape a little bit, Kamala was talking really tough when it came to foreign policy and security, national security, and that kind of stuff. Go back and listen to the tapes if you want. Democrats in general recently have been let's say a little more open about being pro-war than usual, than being, trying to be polite about it. They're kind of taking the gloves off in the past few years, if you haven't noticed. And if you supported Trump and you expected anything else, I don't know what the heck to tell you, except, I don't know, smack yourself, have a cup of coffee, read some books, that kind of thing. Basically, in a nutshell, guys, like I said, that this is not a serious talk. This is just like kind of an overview, a little primer, a little blah, 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 about this whole ordeal in general. First of all, of course, like I said, any conflict with Ukraine is really a conflict with Russia. That has to be perfectly clear to anybody. And if it's not, just stop watching the video right now, please. But this is old stuff, really old stuff, picking a fight with Russia, as well as the Ukraine thing itself. The Ukraine thing itself in particular now is about 30 years old, that we've been stirring up the roost and poking the bear, and orchestrating soft coups and stuff like that, which failed, mind you. But let me first off say I like Russians, and I like Russia. Russia's a cool country, and Russians are good people, just like most other people around the world, minus the craziness, minus the politics, minus the propaganda that you've heard about them, and the little sound bites you've heard from your mainstream news. They're good folks, and it's a cool country. They're hardy, they're honest, they got a good sense of humor. I've known a good handful of Russian friends and Ukrainian friends in my lifetime. So, if you guys want to rewind the tape back to like, 19... When was the Orange Revolution, I think, goes back to about 2005, so I'm sorry. It's about 19 years old that we've been covertly antagonizing Russia via Ukraine. I'm gonna grab my phone because I'm gonna try to do a few screenshots here. But the Orange Revolution was in 1995. As you might have guessed, the CIA is heavily involved in that, as are, well, at least one particular billionaire in particular. It failed. I'd also like to bring up the fact that soft coup or coup attempt was only about maybe 3 years after another soft coup attempt. Mind you, everybody's all wrapped up in a tizzy about 9/11 still, okay? Everyone is still trying to wrap their heads around that. And under the cover of that, under the cover of 9/11, there was also a soft coup attempt in Venezuela in 2002, which failed miserably. It was kind of like a demi Bay of Pigs scenario. W was utterly, embarrassed, but it didn't make a big splash in the news. You guys probably don't even remember the attempted coup in Venezuela in 2002, but go back to that. But more importantly for this topic, go back to 2005. Look up the Orange Revolution. Do a little homework before you start making up your mind about things, please. Another thing I'll say is, quite obviously, natural gas is involved in all of this. Right before we started antagonizing, not like a couple to a few weeks ago, but when the Ukraine thing kind of picked up again a couple to a few years ago, it just so happened that right at that time, Russia was just about to seal a deal with Gazprom and the European Union, and we did everything to block that, and we were eventually successful. It's just dirty. It's just dirty stuff as always. This has just been going on for decades and decades. I'm not here to give like a 101 foreign policy lecture, because this is really pretty elementary stuff, and I'm down to 3 minutes left already. But if you want to dig a bit deeper and go back quite a bit further, some of the main issues with Russia at the roots go back to 1881 when there was a pogrom. Okay, it was not really a nice thing in and of itself. Let me just put that out there. But let me also mention that the pogrom of 1881 in Russia was only the last in succession of basically, I don't know, every country in Europe almost basically doing the same thing at one point or another in the last couple hundred years. If you also wanted to go back in your history books and rewind back the clock a little bit. Okay, so we, and more specifically certain special friends of ours, have always had an issue that began back in 1881 with Russia. But it's a love-hate relationship. Of course, as you know, there are, when it comes to our special friends, that they have some kind of roots in Russia, if you will, and they also think they have certain rights and attachments to it. One really weird thing is, this is just off the side, but if you want to look up, if you remember a movie in I think the 80s, with the actor John Silverman, there was a movie called Brighton Beach Memoirs. And Brighton Beach is another little tip off as far as some of the other weird roots or reasons that certain folks think that, that's theirs, that Ukraine belongs to them. They think everything belongs to them, but anyways. Go back to the Cold War, okay? And for those of you who are getting really worked up, there's a train in the background going past the Lincoln Station. For those of you who are getting really worked up and paranoid and worried about World War III and this, I'd just like to remind you about the Cold War and go back to the 50s and go back to all the stupid bomb shelters and go back to all the other things that our nations put us through for nothing because it was an empty threat. None of that stuff ever materialized, and I know someone's going to bring up the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is a big show. This is a big old show that has been going on for decades, okay? So just, I'm almost out of time, guys. 1881, 1913 also, okay? Because Russia also wasn't on board right away with the whole central banking scheme of the Federal Reserve, really, i.e., the Rothschilds, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully you guys have caught some of those talks as well. But so reasons why we and our special friends really have it out for Russia go back to, the roots go back to 1881, the pogrom in 1881, when Russia said no to central banking in 1913, and to be clear, these days they're not totally apart from the central banking scheme, but they're a lot more untethered than Western nations, because of course they wisely hedge for times like this. Anyways, guys, I'm about out of time. Stop that Ukraine horse poop. You're fools. You're freaking fools. Do some homework. Just stop it. War is bad. It's almost Christmas time. My whole point of being in Gettysburg this whole time again is to say that war is bad. Civil war is bad. All wars are bad. War with Russia is bad. Ukraine is bad, and it's also very stupid. So Get a grip, get over it, read some books. I'll see you guys later.